Get the keys to the kingdom.
You got to come out of Babylon. You have to come out of Babylon. Babylon, the Tower of Babel, is where they get Babylon from. It is a place. It was a place where, of course, Nimrod, Semiramis, and all the other ones, Tammuz. It's where all of the false doctrines and false religions of the world really had its true beginning, where you see organized religion, organized against the Most High Yah and against His judgments. And I'm not talking from a person who wasn't caught up at one time. 21 years I pastored a Christian church. And I've been now about 7 years teaching the entire Bible, the truth of the scriptures, based on the Torah, realizing that it's all one book. The Christian church, from Catholicism to Protestantism, it makes no difference. It's Babylon. The way they teach it in the Catholic Church, they say Babylon is the world system, that you got to come out of the world and get into the Catholic Church. And the way the Protestants get around teaching about the Whore of Babylon, the Protestant people say that the Whore of Babylon is the Catholic Church, and you got to get out of the Catholic Church and come into our church to get out of Babylon. So you end up being, Baptist or Methodist or whatever. But the truth of the matter is, both Protestant and Catholic, the Protestants are the children or the descendants of the Catholic Church, period. I don't care what they teach you. It's the truth. And every Protestant denomination can be traced back to some European who started it. That's just the way it is. I mean, I know people don't like to hear this information because it messes them up, based on everything they've been taught. But every denomination, if you keep tracing it back, you're going to find out it will have its roots somewhere in that Catholic Church, which is the mother. But all the denominations, including the Baptists, including Methodists, including all of the other offshoot religions. And how is that known? How do you know that? You can tell easily who is on Yah's side and who is not. You can tell by looking at what they celebrate as their feast days. Now that one is pretty simple. Whatever their feast days are, that is their identification. That lets you know who they are and what they worship and what they follow. So when you see the whole world coming together for this day that is called Easter, it's Astarte, it's Astral. I've been teaching this for almost 30 years now. 29 years I know I've been teaching the world. Even when I was caught up in the Christian church, I knew that Astarte had no place in church. And so, when you're in the Christian church, you try to make excuses. You say, well, we just won't call it Easter. We will call it Resurrection Sunday. Okay, I don't even want to get into all of the different, I don't want to get into all the different faults that we can find in that. First of all, Easter is not a celebration that is only one day. They actually started with Friday. And you're going to see it. They're going to have Good Friday services everywhere without ever checking the manuscript to see whether or not it was a Friday that he died. See, they don't care because in the religion, it's in the true religion behind Easter, it was not Yeshua who died on Friday. See, that's the whole picture. It's the sun god who died on Friday and arose on Sunday. See, and so what they've done is they've tried to make a parallel between him and Yeshua by saying Jesus died. And they say, well, he's like the Son. So they don't understand that they do understand. See, at first I thought Christians didn't understand until I kept studying. I said, no. They understand, but they're not going to stop because it's money. The biggest offering is their Easter offering. So no matter how much truth you give them, they're going to then revert back to, well, we're under grace and we can do whatever we want anyway. Because I told you, it's Babylon. It's lawlessness. So there's going to be there's people right now preparing for what's considered to be Easter service. They're starting plays, dramas, clothes. They're going to have all kinds of things leading up. Some of them are going to be going through what's called Lent, which is actually the weeping for Tammuz. And all you got to do is, all the stuff that I mentioned, I have researched it. But the Christian church is Catholic. And the Catholic Church worships the sun gods. They worship. That's why everything they do is tied into everything that's pagan. You got to come out of that foolishness. Yah has his set apart days. The next big day for us is Passover. It's the big celebration that Yah has called his people to. And Passover and Easter have nothing to do with each other at all. I'll be doing some more stuff on Passover, but what I'm trying to say is, those of you who have ears to hear, get out of Babylon. You got to come out. You got to get away from anything that is pagan in origin. You got to get away from anything where they say it doesn't matter if we worship one day. We worship the goddess of fertility, who was Ashtaroth, who, by the way, was the #1 enemy of the children of Israel. All you got to do is look it up. Her name is Ashtaroth in the Bible, or Astarte, and she's also referred to as the Queen of Heaven. Do research. You will find that the same pagan practices that were going on during the time of our ancestors before the HaMashiach, the same practices, the making of the bread, the oblations, the swine, the Easter ham, the swine being slain. You will see that all of that was going on during the time of our ancestors. And so, Yisrael, if you can hear me, do not participate in the same thing that got us put into captivity in the first place, idolatry. It don't matter what your pastor says. Yah has never evolved to the place where now he shares his glory and his worship with paganism, satanic, demonic, religious teachings and doctrines that come from the pit of hell. He does not do that. And if you're in a situation where your preacher or your pastor is saying, oh, that doesn't matter, and oh, if you're listening to More Yoshiyahu, yeah, he's way out there somewhere, then what you need to do then is do a search on the origin and see if the origin, how did this thing begin and how is it still being practiced today, and draw the parallels, and you will see it is complete idolatry and paganism. From the egg to dressing up, to the hot cross buns, to the pig, to even the day itself, Easter. Just research that, Easter. And how did this whore demon get a day of worship in the so-called church? Do you see it? Unless that is what the church is about, and it is. It's the biggest day. So now, once you finish that research, go on and do it. It's only second grade research. You ain't got to do nothing heavy. Second grade research. Open it, Click the name and research it. You're gonna find out what I'm saying is true. Second thing, I want you to really see. Once you've done the research, ask your pastor, is it pagan in root? Ask him, ask her, whoever your pastor is, ask them. And see how they start tap dancing like Sammy Davis Jr. in his prime. You're going to see it because they have to protect Mystery Babylon. That's why it's called Mystery Babylon. It's called Mystery Babylon because the people that are caught in it doesn't even realize it. Oh, that reminded me of a point I made earlier. In the Christian church, they taught that the world was Babylon. But when you study the actual scriptures, you will see that it is the religious institutions that are called Babylon. You're going to see that. Why? Because they're going to be worshiping the same feast days and participating in the same festivals and believing the same thing as Babylon. We don't have to keep the commandments of Yah. It's the exact same thing that has been from the beginning to right now. So do that research. Ask your pastor. And he's going to lie. Or he's going to say it don't matter. But I need you to do that. Or tell whoever you're trying to witness to get him out of Babylon to do it. And then number 3, what I want you to do is first research it yourself. Number 2, ask your pastor. Number 3, and this is a very simple one. Then type in Passover and click enter. And what you're going to see is very simple. When you click enter, it's going to take you to the Torah. It's going to take you to the origin. It's going to take you to the Bible that you hold in your hand. It's not going to take you to some outside book. It's not going to run you through no history of where it was at one time pagan and then was adopted and the practices were changed and all that. No. When you research Passover, it's going to take you one place. It's going to take you to the Exodus. It's going to show you the Passover lamb. And then if you keep researching it, you're going to find out that Yehoshua, our HaMashiach, was also, watch this, connected to that Passover, not to Easter, to the Passover where his blood was shed. And you don't have to lie about dying on Friday and Good Friday and trying to get 3 days and 3 nights. You can't push that round peg into that square hole. It don't work. If he dies on Passover, then he rises up as the first fruit of them that sleep. Everything works out absolutely perfect. You're going to find that, number 1, it's going to take you to your Bible, not to some outside demonic origin. Your origin will be biblical. And then you will see that Yeshua is the fulfillment of that in the New Testament as the Lamb of Yah that takes away the sin of the world. And then when you go back to your pastor, your leader, your worker, whoever, your cousin, your auntie, your friends, talking about you coming to Easter service with us, then or Good Friday service with us, you'll be like, well, show me that in the scripts. They're going to be able to do it. If they say, well, here's Easter in the book of Acts, tell them, would you mind finding what the word behind that word Easter is? Because right there you see how the English translation tried to push paganism into the scripts. You're going to find out that word actually is Pesach, which represents Passover. It's the truth. I done already researched it several times. I taught this lesson several times. And hopefully, and once you've done your research, hopefully, even if it's just one more person said, I'm not participating in any more demonic, Babylonian, Astarte, pagan rituals. I'm coming out of that to walk according to scriptures alone. I'm going to keep the commandments of Yah. I'm going to love him and serve him only. If just one more person does it, then all of our effort will not be in vain. Come out of Babylon. Get out the false church. Get out of that system. Leave before it's too late. Judgment is coming. Our HaMashiach is on his way back. He's not going to be playing when he gets back. He's not going to be like, oh, well, it was cute. When he comes back one way, and that is he's coming back with judgment on his mind.
We